Hey filmmakers, it's Carrie with Filmmaker Central, and we've got a little box from AndyCine. So stay right there. We'll be right back. One thing that has always bugged me with a number of different accessories is how they come fairly incomplete. It's not everything you need to use the product. And that's kind of disturbing because you have to have other things. Over here, I have a stack of NPF batteries. Not one of them came with anything that it was purchased for, whether it be lights or monitors. The light I have up here uses NPF batteries. None of them came with either the batteries or a charger. You had to order that stuff separately. That's one thing I really like about AndyCine is their stuff comes very complete. So this is the new A6 Pro, 5.5-inch monitor. And you think that is a really, really thick bag for a monitor. But let's get into it. I mean, first off, we have a nice little handle on here. That's kind of handy. I like that. But let's open it up and see what's inside. Yeah, it definitely is a big case for a small monitor. So there's probably a few things inside. So let's open it up and see what all you get with the A6 Pro. We open it up and we have a flap here covering some stuff and a zippered pouch on this side. So let's open up this pouch here and see what all we get. Well, first we have an HDMI to micro HDMI, perfect for plugging in to most cameras. This works with my Sony a7 III, my Sony ZV-1, which is what I'm recording with right now. So very handy. I got plenty of these, but never hurts to have an extra. So really appreciate that. Has a USB-C cable for powering the monitor itself. Let's see, we have a micro USB cable. And what is that for? Well, it is for, if I can get it out of the bag, the battery charger and the Sony NPF style battery. This is a 2200 milliamp battery. So but wait, there's more. And you have the bracket that goes on the cold shoe and holds the monitor and allows it to flip back and forth. But let's get back to these guys. I don't have any other monitor that has ever included a battery and a charger. I'm actually kind of a little surprised that it includes these. It's an AndyCine brand battery and a basic charger that is powered off micro USB, and it comes with the micro USB cable to charge it. So you have everything you need to run this monitor, with the exception of a USB power brick. I'm sure we all have plenty of them. They're so prolific out there that Apple doesn't even include them with the latest iPhone 12s. I know, because I bought one and there's no power brick in it. Has the cable, but no power brick. But I have tons of power bricks, and they're super cheap. So there's no reason to include them with every freaking device. Saves a little bit of money and just keeps you from having to have a bunch of extra power bricks laying around. I can plug it into the computer. I can plug it into my hub. I can plug it into a battery bank. I can plug it into power bricks. There's no end to the number of ways that I can power this system over USB. So don't care that it didn't come with one. I'm actually totally fine with that. But the fact that it comes with a battery and a charger, that's huge. That is really, really a big deal. Now let's look at the other side on here. We open the flap and we have this little guy in a bag, and then open it. It is the sunshade that goes over the monitor, and wedged in along here, let me get this out, is the frame that clips onto the monitor that has Velcro on it for the sunshade. And then we have the monitor itself. So nice little monitor here, AndyCine 4K. Let's kind of take a look around it, right? We have F1, F2, left, right, menu, up, down, and power. So we actually have physical switches on the top as well as touchscreen, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Also on the top is a metal threaded quarter 20, making it real easy to attach this to things or attach other things to it. Maybe you want to put a microphone on top of here, cold shoe mount or something. On this side, we have another metal threaded quarter 20. That's really cool. On the bottom, we have another quarter 20 that's metal thread. Our 8.4 volt DC output. So you can order a dummy battery for quite a few different cameras. Take the output from here, plug it into your camera, so you're running everything off one battery. And if you have, let me see if I have one over here. One of these big honking NPF 970 batteries on here, you're going to power this and your camera for a long, long time. So a little investment in some batteries and you can go quite a while. But even the standard little battery that it comes with it, that's good for powering the monitor. But when you're powering that and a camera, you're going to go through it pretty quick. You also have a headphone jack on here, since you can get the audio in here from the HDMI feed. You can plug in headphones to monitor your audio. And this port right here. This is the first of these small size monitors I've seen that has a USB-C port. It's 2021, people. I'm surprised I haven't seen this on devices for the last couple years. This, to me, is one of the coolest features of this whole thing. I mean, this thing has all the features that I've seen on other monitors, but having USB-C power, that's just huge. I mean, all my stuff is USB-C. My camera, my laptop, my hubs, not my phone. My phone is Lightning. Come on, Apple, get with it. But all the other things that I have are USB-C. So I love that this is USB-C. I wish the charger was USB-C. It's micro USB. Oh well, one thing at a time. But we're getting there with the monitor. So good on AndyCine for having a USB-C power. On this side, we have DC 12 volt in. So I have a number of 12 volt power supplies. I can just plug it in, run this thing all day, especially when it's sitting here in the studio where I'm doing all this type of filming. I can have this plugged in and never have to worry about batteries. Has HDMI in and HDMI out. So I can go from the out to a recorder, to a monitor, to whatever else I need to on the HDMI out. On the back, we have another threaded or metal threaded quarter 20, as well as the battery port on here. And this guy over here, this is a mount plate. And it says loosen the screw on the kit, push in the cross-shaped area to adjust the position of the kit. Well, what this is for is a nice mount bracket for an HDMI, a wireless HDMI system. So I can go from the camera over to here wirelessly, and that's fantastic. Just plug it in to the HDMI in and you're set to go. So very cool being able to have a mount plate on here for the wireless HDMI. I don't have one, love to, so maybe they'll get around to sending me one of those, but in the meantime, I'm really happy with the monitor. So let's get into it a little bit further. Now the A6 Pro is very similar to some of the earlier models with touchscreen controls, the menus and everything, but what's nice is it combines features from several of them. There was one model that had the HDMI in and HDMI out, but it didn't have the power out. There was one that had the power out, but it didn't have HDMI out. So this has power out, so you can go to a dummy battery, has HDMI out, so you can go to a recorder or another monitor. It's got all the best features of everything. The menu, very nice menu system. Just hit the menu and you can scroll through the different pages to get to all the settings. Super easy to navigate. Really like the menu system. There's programmable keys, so you can change or preset them for flip, which is what I normally do, so I can flip it back and forth. You can set them for false color, zebra stripes, all the, whatever you want, you can set on the function keys on here. Now, what is nice about this is it actually is a touch screen. So we can swipe up and we can set this bottom bar for whatever custom features that we want. That's super nice, real handy to get to, especially when you're working in front of the camera and you just want to reach up, flip a setting on, super nice. We'll get out of that. Has brightness controls. Just start swiping up and down and the brightness comes up. If we go to the other side, I'll do it over here. This is our volume control. Since it does have audio out, we can use it to monitor the audio that's being recorded. So again, super cool. On-screen displays for pretty much everything that you'd want, your audio levels, your histogram, all that good stuff. So really happy with it. Let's scroll up here. We have our center markers turned off. I can turn that on. Our safe frames, what we want our safe frames to be, I'm going to turn that off. I don't use that. We'll turn the histogram on so we can see the histogram over here. Embedded audio, so now we can see our audio meters over here. And I am running it off my Sony A7 III, so I'm actually seeing audio levels over here. Turn on our overexposure and 9 grid. 9 grid is the rule of thirds. There you have it. If you couldn't figure out what 9 grid was, it's the rule of thirds. So it puts the bars up on here, so it will help you with your composition. So really nice feature to have on there. So if we hit our menu, we get our full menu over here. And the first one has some of our basic settings, the histogram, the focus assist, peaking color, embedded audio, overexposure, exposure level, our check field, and our false colors. If we go to the next menu, we have our 9 grid, which is the rule of thirds, safe frames, center marker, ratio marker, mark color, mark width, and modified mark. Go down to the next one. It's our aspect ratios, our scan mode, aspect ratio, anamorphic on or off. And if you turn that on, you'll have a couple more settings here. Zoom feature, image flip, and OSD flip. Next one is going to give us our LUT switch, so we can actually have several LUTs in here. Our LUT table, LUT import, color temperature, and backlight. Next menu here is what does the left-right key do, the language, the OSD transparency, OSD time, the no signal, what's it going to do, then this it's set for gray screen, volume, touch screen is on, and power on is auto. And the last one is safe frames and histogram. So a lot of features packed into this little box, and it will take almost any input. So whether you're pumping in 4K, 1080, 720, whatever you want to pump into this thing, it's going to take it. Now, even though it says it's 4K, that just means it can take up to a 4K signal. The screen is still 1920 by 1080. So you're getting an HD screen, but it can take in 4K input. So all these features packed into a nice little case. The brightness level is 500 nits. So it's not going to be really good outside in bright sunlight, but for a lot of applications, that's going to be bright enough. And it does have the sunshade, which is going to help a little bit when you're outside. All in on this guy, you're looking at $169. So very, very affordable, very functional, just a fantastic little monitor. AndyCine is a very well-known brand. And now I will say they did send this to me for my review. They didn't offer to pay me for it. They didn't ask for a positive review like some companies do. They just like, hey, we like what you're doing on Filmmaker Central. We'd like you to try out one of our new monitors. And I'm like, that's awesome. I know of AndyCine. A lot of some of my favorite YouTubers like Gerald Undone and DSLR video shooter. They have reviewed the AndyCine products in the past, so it's quite an honor for them to reach out to me and offer one of these for my own review. Really like it, and the build quality is really nice. This is a plastic shell, so it's probably not going to handle a drop onto anything, unfortunately. The 1/4 threads are metal, so they're not going to strip out. I like that. The NPF battery, love it. The USB-C, probably one of my favorite features, because I have a handful of little monitors like this, but none of them can run off USB-C. And I have so many USB cables these days and accessories that having something like this is definitely a big plus. I have lights that run on USB-C. So other than my phone, thank you Apple, which is still on Lightning, pretty much everything else, my whole MacBook Pro is all USB-C. So having USB-C on here, I know I'm going on about that, but I really think that that's a cool feature to have on a monitor like this. So great features. The zoom feature is kind of cool. Helps make sure that you've got your focus in right. It does have focus peaking, which I have found works extremely well. So when I'm trying to set up a shot and I want to make sure that my focus is dialed in, sometimes I can't really see it on the back of my camera, but being able to see it on a bigger screen here where I can really see those lines to let me know that things are in focus, I have not had a single focus problem when using this to do some focus. And I've been using this for shooting a documentary that I have coming up, and this has been working absolutely flawlessly. I've been using it both with the Sony a7 III and the Sony ZV-1, which I'm actually recording on right now. And again, perfect on both cameras. Being able to see the overexposure, that's been absolutely perfect. Made sure I haven't blown out anything. The focus has been dead on every single time. So super happy with it. So if you're looking for a sub $200 monitor that can do pretty much everything except for record, the AndyCine 4K A6 Pro, I think, is going to be a big winner for you. Now, I have mentioned, I'm just going to back up a little bit here, because there's really been two types of monitors I've seen lately. One with all the manual controls up here, and others that are touchscreen. And that's fine, but the fact that this has both makes it really handy, because there's times where your hand just isn't working quite right on the screen. I mean, right now, my hands are clean. It's dry in here, no real issue. It's going to work every single time. Not going to have any problem with it. There's no real lag. It works great. But there's times when I'm working in the cold. I'm in Colorado. It gets cold here, and your hands are getting cold, and you're wearing gloves, and being able to press on the screen just doesn't work. Having the manual keys up here as kind of a backup, I think, is super nice, because for the most part, once you get this set up and you have your quick keys down here, you're really never going to use the top ones. The only one I have found that I have used at all is the power button, and I have the F1 set to flip the screen. Really, those are the only two manual ones I have up here. And I could set the flip down here, but I have my primary functions that are down here, and I just keep the flip up on top. So overall, fantastic quality, great features, works great, absolutely love it. So that's the AndyCine A6 Pro 4K. Pick it up. I'll put some links in the description below so you can find it real easily on Amazon, or a link to their website, or pick it up at your favorite camera store. They're sold just about anywhere. So thanks for watching, everybody. This has been Kerry with Filmmaker Central. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.